You're about to see a film I made in one of the great libraries of the world, J. Walker's Library of the History of Human Imagination, Ridgefield, Connecticut. Tens of thousands of books and millions of other things you're going to see some of. J. Walker's library is absolutely unique. So I asked Jay, could he take my sons around and show them just a little bit of what he had collected? Who is Jay Walker? He's a serial entrepreneur. He founded Priceline, lots of other companies. He has, I think, 850 patents, and he's an obsessive collector. He knows exactly what he's looking for, and you're going to see a bit of that in this film. Stay with it, because at the end I'll tell you a bit more about Jay Walker and the Library of the History of Human Imagination.
So we're going to pretend the room is dark, okay? Ready? So come on in and watch. We'll just pretend and we'll wake up the room in the dark. Let's see if it works.
Look at the walls. Look up.
So the library wakes up to music because in each of the glass panels is an invention, like a puzzle. This is a syringe that was invented by a friend of mine that you can only use once. So once you use it, you can't use it again. Now, why would you invent a syringe that could only be used once? There must be some kind of problem, right? Turns out that many places in the world use syringes, the same one, many, many, many times because they don't want to buy another one, or they don't have enough money to buy another one. What happens if I put a syringe in a sick person, and then I refill it up and I put it in a well person?
It'll make the other person sick.
Right, so you don't want to use syringes over and over again, and yet in a large part of the world, a single syringe could be used 50 different times.
Wow.
Right, syringes kill millions of people.
A friend of yours invented?
Yeah, invented this in the UK. You guys ever play the game of Monopoly?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
here's the first Monopoly ball. Right here. That's the very first one. All made by hand by the guy who essentially invented the game, Charles Darrow. He typed up the rules, typed up the cards, the community chest and chance cards, typed up the deeds, bought some play money.
He invented this.
He actually stole it, but it's pretty close. Did you remember when the plane was forced to land in the Hudson River? Do you remember that?
No.
So not long ago, a couple of years ago, a plane took off from LaGuardia, where you were, and the engine got sucked in a bunch of birds, and so it stopped the engine. And the plane only had one engine, and the other engine also had some birds, and it suddenly came out. And what was happening, that plane was over New York City, and both engines stopped. So they said, ruh-roh. Okay? So they turned the plane around while it was sinking, and he landed the plane right in the Hudson River by the George Washington Bridge. And all the people on the plane
water
survived. Everybody, they landed on the water as if it were a runway. They were lucky that day. See, the water was pretty smooth. And they landed the plane on the water. And then ferry boats came from New Jersey and New York to pick up the passengers before the plane sank, okay, in the river. Now, why do I have it here? Here's why I have it here. One of my friends was on the plane.
Eek.
Whoa.
How do you like that? And he tells the story of what it was like to be on a plane that you thought you were going to crash and die. So the luggage is at the bottom of the Hudson River. So what does the airline do? Well, they send a check to each person for $10,000, saying, "We're really sorry we crashed the plane. Here's $10,000 for your luggage." Now, most people are so happy to have lived through the plane crash, they really don't care. And my friend Rick decided he wasn't going to cash the check. So this place is a good place to see the whole library, right? Because you can see the staircases, right? And you can see that it's much more than books, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's right. It's more than books. It's got model ships and it's got dinosaur stuff.
It's got huge rocket ships.
Why would I have more than books?
You guys like to collect stuff?
Yeah, I like to collect stuff. Yeah, that's it. So this guy makes up a book. He pretends that he landed on an alien world that had really intelligent people, and then he pretends he found an encyclopedia on that world. And the encyclopedia has writing he can't understand. And every page he makes up this totally fake encyclopedia. Right? right?
Including
And
the
look at-
words.
Including all these fake words that don't translate. And he made this book, and they printed 1,000 copies, and that was it. Never sold. Nobody wanted to buy this silly book except me and a few other people. Take a look at this book cover. Do you see the 3 dimensions of it? Do you see the? Do you see how it makes a?
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's the surprise. If you're very careful and don't use your nail, you can touch it. The book is flat.
Oh.
There is no 3 dimensions. Your brain isn't so hard to fool, is it?
Yep,
Jay,
good.
I
Yes.
know this is some kind of money, but where is it from?
That's from World War II. That's money that the Nazis printed up in World War II and put in areas where the Jews were to try to convince the world that they were treating the Jews well. So this is fake money that they put into the ghettos. And so whenever visitors came, they showed them this money and said, oh no, the Jews have their own money. But they were just lying. This is a fossil. You guys know what a fossil is, right? But this is a fossil of one fish eating another fish. Oh my God. So it's very rare. So what happened is the moment one fish gobbled another, something happened and killed both the fish. Probably some mud slid on top of them at exactly that moment and froze them in exactly that position. And maybe 35 million years ago, this happened. So this is a star atlas, and the most beautiful of all the star atlases. And it was produced in 1800, and each of the pages are hand-painted. And these are the constellations that they imagined were in the sky. They imagined that there was a dog and that Gemini twins were in the sky. Because Orion, they imagined that the stars formed patterns in the sky. Okay, and so each star is in the right position. There are 12,000 stars in this atlas, and each one is exactly in the right position. And you can see it's all painted with gold. This was right at the beginning of the world of science, so they decided that there were other things in the sky. So look here, they put a printing tray in the sky. Okay? They said, oh, there must be a printing tray in the sky, too. So what's the biggest animal that's ever lived? Any idea what the biggest animal that has ever lived on the earth is? Brontosaurus, you think? Here's the surprise. It's the blue whale, and it's alive today. It's bigger than any dinosaur.
What do you think that might be?
A code decoder.
That's what it is. Good guess. It's a coding decoder device. It's designed to send coded transmissions and decode them. It's a mechanical one, which means it doesn't use any electronics at all, it just uses wheels. And it's the last one made. It's made in around 1962. After that point, they no longer use mechanical wheels. They go to electronics. So here, you can see sort of one of the earliest radios in the world. That's one of the very first radios. It turns out radio was a big deal when it was invented. And that's one of the earliest radios. This is one of the very earliest phonographs in the world where the records are cylinders. They're round and they go like this, and this would be the record.
That's like a CD.
All right, yeah, like a CD. Music is on here, only it's physical, not digital. This would be a model of Edison's, a model as a copy of Edison's first light bulb. That's what it looked like. Just that little thing. And Edison didn't invent the light bulb, okay? Even though people think he did. He didn't invent the light bulb. What Edison invented was the filament, the little piece of wire that goes in the center that lets the bulb last about 20 hours. Before Edison, light bulbs only lasted 10 minutes or so because they burned out. So this is Muhammad Ali's boxing glove, the world heavyweight champion, and this was his personal boxing glove. And this was a flag that was carried to the moon and back on Apollo 11, the first trip to the moon. The astronauts each carried little flags with them in their pockets, and when they came back, they gave the flags to their teachers and friends. See, a dollar wasn't always a dollar.
Wow.
So in 1776, when they printed up money, right at the beginning of the country, when they needed less than a dollar, they printed up a fraction of a dollar. So how much of a dollar is this? 2/3 of a dollar.
It's like a giant piece of metal.
Exactly is what it is. It's a giant piece of metal. Iron, on our planet, we are mostly iron. The whole center of the planet is liquid iron.
Wow.
So iron, which is a very heavy metal, is the largest element on planet Earth. We just don't happen to see much of it because it's all in the middle. So these are really special rocks. I mean, we're talking really special. All right? In the whole world, there only are about 50 to 60 of these rocks known. Now, that makes it 1,000,000 times rarer than diamonds. What are these rocks? These rocks are little pieces of Mars, the planet.
Wow.
Okay?
That's more valuable than a diamond. You asked me.
Much more valuable than a diamond. And you can hold them.
Pieces of Mars.
How do they find pieces of Mars? Well, first thing that has to happen is an asteroid has to hit Mars. Then the next thing that has to happen is rocks from the Martian surface have to be thrown into space because the asteroid hits it so hard. Then the rock in the atmosphere has to escape Mars's gravity, travel through space, and then it has to somehow randomly hit the Earth. But not just the Earth. It has to come through our atmosphere, not burn up. Most rocks burn up when they come through the atmosphere, right? Because they're moving too fast and they burn up from the friction. And then it has to land in Antarctica on the snow. And then people have to be walking around Antarctica and see a rock and go, well, there's no rocks on the snow, so it must have come from space. They got to pick it up, then they got to take it back to a laboratory, and they got to put it under a special kind of machine called a spectroscope. And they've got to basically figure out the chemical signature of the rock. And then they got to decide to sell it.
Yeah.
Okay? And then they got to find somebody willing to buy it. Okay? And then it's got to get here. So this is the world's biggest and stupidest Swiss Army knife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Henry loves Swiss Army knives.
Now,
Oh, God.
Now, what's
Look at
cool
that.
about this Swiss Army knife is it has every knife that they make in one knife. Now,
Holy moly.
it sells for over $1,000.
But you see why.
But can anybody use this knife?
No.
Did you use this?
Yes, somehow.
No. It shows that
Maybe?
it tells an interesting story. You see, if you make a knife that has everything in it, it really has nothing. And they sold, like 200-300 of them to crazies like me who have to have them.
And him.
Wow.
Would you buy that?
Henry would be one of the
Yeah,
crazy.
Henry
You
would
could join the
definitely-
crazy club. It's a place like no other in the world. So people come from all over the world to visit this room just because it's a unusual place to see in one room somebody trying, not succeeding, but trying to put imagination together in one room.
Would you guys like to have a library? David, would you like to have a library?
Like this, then yes.
Like this?
Yeah, definitely.
Where everything you picked yourself? Because you are a collector. I am a collector. Jay is a collector. Are you a collector?
Not a collector. You all seem weird to me.
I really appreciate Jay giving my sons that tour. I asked him, what makes you you? Well, what causes this? Now, you're going to say money, but I was a collector too. I had a whole garage filled with stuff, and I wasn't rich, and I'm still not, and I still have a garage filled with stuff right next door. So Jay said, first, intense curiosity. Curious about this. Why is that? Who is that? Intense curiosity. Second, the feeling that history is relevant. I'm going to call it pop history. Yeah, he has the important stuff, the Gutenberg Bible. He has a copy of that. But he also has little crazy stuff that nobody thinks of but him, because he believes that human imagination comes from these little odd things. So that's the second thing, is a sense that history is everywhere. Third, I think he's a great storyteller. It's wonderful to be a storyteller about the stories of the things you've collected. I'm hopeful that many of you watching this are yourselves collectors, or if you're not, you know someone who is. My wife is intolerant of my collecting. She thinks, get rid of the damn stuff, it's all dusty. So in New England, where I come from, there's a tradition about that. The man has the garage, or the barn, which can be connected to the house, in which he stores all his stuff. Old nails, old newspapers, boxes that had stuff in them, not really complete, and so many other things. I mean, my storage barn in Maine was a joke. The only person who knew where anything was me. I just love collecting. I don't mind the dust. I like old stuff. I like feeling it, real things, pamphlets, photographs, books, rocks, boxes, crazy stuff. Each of us who is a collector knows what I'm talking about. And Jay spends a good part of every day searching for the next thing that he's going to put in the library. I don't know what Jay's going to do with this library when he passes on. Right now, it's connected to his house. There was a time that Jay said to me, David, would you like to be in the library by yourself? Just you. Quiet, do whatever you want, think whatever you think. And I did that. I spent about 4 hours in the library alone at night. And did I come up with any great creative ideas? I'm not sure. But I got a sense of being alive, of a time and a place that I was right now, and all the things of the past around me that really was unique. The library to me is very unique. I've been in some other great libraries, and they're kind of a lot of books. But Jay's library is so personal and odd. And the intense curiosity of one man. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you'd like to see another film that I made for the library, it's the introduction to the library. Search Jay Walker on my YouTube channel, and you'll see this other film about the library and the feeling of the library. Thank you for watching.